Hi, I'm Rafi, and this is today's edition of Digital World. Today we're dealing with an important question: is ITIL relevant in the digital world? There's been a lot of discussions around whether ITIL is fit for purpose for the fast pace and the agile digital world. So today's question is really trying to say, is ITIL still relevant or relevant in a digital world? The short answer to that question is yes, it is still relevant. The longer answer is it depends. It depends on your understanding, your organization's understanding of ITIL. It depends on your organization's application of those guidelines and good practices within the organization themselves. So in order to help us answer this question, it's important to take a step back and have a look at some of the, if you want, the intent, some of the reasons behind ITIL and what ITIL's sort of was designed to help achieve. And the best definition of ITIL, absolutely by far, it's the goes to Don Page, who actually said it is documented common sense. As Voltaire said, common sense is not so common. So when you do find common sense, it's great that when it is actually documented. So it's a documented set of good practices, actually documented in 5 books, mind you, to help organizations deliver a better business value. So put differently, ITIL's intent is to try and help provide guidelines for questions like what type of services should we deliver and who should we deliver it to, how can we create business value to our customers, how can create value for our customers, how do we define service quality, how do we better integrate the IT strategy with the business strategy and deliver those services, how do we continually improve those services in the changing world. Put simply, ITIL is a set of good practices aimed at delivering high quality, cost effective business value. However, having said that, ITIL, like many other philosophies and frameworks and practices, is not immune to abuse, if you want. And over the years, I've seen ITIL, take at least the perception of ITIL came defined by the technology aspect of ITIL. ITIL, of course, advocates, the people, process, and technology need to work together to be able to deliver those outcomes on business value and customer value. And there was a major, if you want, push by vendors pushing the technology side of ITIL, which then, framed the entire discussion. And some of those, for many years, ITIL became synonymous with service desk type tools, later rebranded as service management tools, offering things like incident and problem and change tracking capabilities, masquerading as incident management capabilities. And there were a lot of consultancy, a lot of vendors offering even ITIL tool certification if your tool conformed to these ITIL processes. And then came the configuration management databases and the configuration management system, saying that's the center of the world, and you can't deliver value without having one of these things. And then it became sort of really defined by these set of tools. So that led to, at least maybe it's not directly led, but the question's being asked is these kind of capabilities relevant in the fast-moving digital world? And so it's been advocating that DevOps is perhaps more appropriate. Maybe they've seen, is it ITIL versus DevOps? And of course, it's not as simple as that, because in order to help answer that question, one needs to answer the question of what exactly is DevOps, and what is the goals, what's the intent behind DevOps. The best definition of DevOps, and there's a lot of them out there, as it's still not documented, goes to Gartner. It says it's not a market, it is a tool-centric philosophy aimed at speeding up, or aimed at the delivery of the continuous delivery value chain. Gene Kim puts it in a similar way. Gene Kim says, okay, a DevOps is the close collaboration between the development team and the operations teams, and that advocates the fast flow of planned work, that is higher release cycles, while at the same time maintaining reliability, resiliency, stability, and security. So fast changes while at the same time delivering higher availability, security, which may sound contradictory, but DevOps advocates, of course, automation to help achieve that. I mean, nothing in the philosophy, in the framework, that's actually contradictory. As a matter of fact, they're actually complementary. If you look at the bigger framework that sort of ITIL sort of brings, the guidelines at the end of it. So, in that sense, it's complementary. So as a final recommendation my recommendation is rather than focusing on processes or frameworks, on good practices, it's important to ask the questions of the why are we doing all of these things, and then go and answer the questions of what and how we actually achieve those things. Because these processes and frameworks, they're really a means of delivering an outcome, the business value, as opposed to the outcomes themselves. So, but if we look at the digital world, what are the key disciplines, basically, that are critical regardless of what framework and best practices you look at? The key disciplines that are absolutely essential is a relentless focus on the customer, relentless focus on the customer experience, and understanding how we can leverage that data to continually deliver better services, which brings me to the second point, this continuous delivery aspect of it, the continuous improvement, the continuous release of new capabilities, new features, dealing with the fast and changing expectations of customers and the fast-moving market in the digital world. And finally, of course, is the operational efficiency. As we're moving things faster, it's important that we're doing them with the high stability, reliability, security, and resiliency, of course, in those worlds. And none of these things can happen specifically in this fast-moving digital without a continuous culture of collaboration, continuous culture of improvement, and working together across the entire organization, not just development and operations, but from the business to marketing to development to operations to even legal and finance, and all those things need to actually work together to help deliver that fast pace. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you've found value in it. Again, as usual, if you agree or disagree, you have any questions, agree violently or otherwise, happy to take them. Put them down in the feed below. And thank you for listening.